As we head into season 5, I know you probably can't give too much away, but what can you tease and say about the final season?
We really blow the doors off it.
The series finale of The Boys was just released, and it was bad. I'm talking Stranger Things finale bad. I'm talking Game of Thrones Season 8 bad. There were so many things in this episode that felt rushed, and the payoffs weren't paying off. Let's get into it. So there it is. That is the series finale of The Boys. And there were so many things in this episode that had me upset from start to finish. There were some things that I liked, but more that just made me upset. I'm not really going to do a entire episode breakdown because I'm just so mad at how this turned out right now. So I'm just going to go over everything that I didn't like and some of the things that I ended up liking in the end. First of all, I want to talk about how V1 is the most retarded thing that they added into the show. Tell me, what did V1 do? It literally did absolutely nothing. They introduced it into the show. Homelander spent all this time looking for it. It was built up as this big thing. When he gets it, I'm like, all right, he's injected with the V1. He's gonna go genocidal. That's what most fans were waiting for this whole season. And he does absolutely nothing. I'm almost positive that Homelander killed less people in this season than any other season prior. I might have to go back and count it up, but I'm pretty sure after he got the V1, he hasn't killed anybody. The writers and the showrunners were going around before the season saying that all hell was going to break loose, scorched earth. Homelander was going to go scorched earth. And we were all waiting for that this whole entire season. And like I said before, when Homelander injected himself with the V1, we were all like, all right, he's has to go scorched earth now. The most we got was a scorched Oval Office. And let's talk about Homelander. We all thought that he was going to basically take over the world this season. And he was nerfed beyond belief, especially in the last fight scene. His laser eyes couldn't even burn through a crowbar. Literally in episodes prior, he cuts Kamiko in half with his laser eyes, but in this episode, he can't do anything with them. And earlier in the episode, he brings somebody to space in less than a second and comes back in a blink of an eye. But he can't escape when he's trying to escape from Busher. He can't run away. He can't move quick enough. It was just ridiculous. It just seemed like they lowered people's powers when they had to. Oh my God. Another thing that made me so mad, the Annie and Deep fight. We've all wanted to see the Annie and Deep since season 1. And I actually like how they ended that. We wanted to see Annie be the one to kill the Deep. But the fact that Annie would ever bring him to the ocean, because she has no knowledge that the fish all hate the Deep. So she brings the Deep to the place where he's the most powerful to fight him. It literally made absolutely no sense. And then she pushes him in the water. They treat the fans like they're absolutely retarded. Why would she push him in? They just had him there just to die, to be killed by the fish, to get it over with real quick because it's the last episode. I also thought they were going to let Homelander live a little bit longer. After that terrible anticlimactic fight scene, in my opinion, at the end, the fact that Homelander went out, it was like the Night King all over again. He was built up over years upon years, and then he goes out in 2 seconds. And I will admit that I did like that scene. I did like the fact that Butcher killed him. I did like the fact that he used the crowbar like he does in the comic books. That's all well and dandy. It's just the fact that it happened so fast. It felt so rushed. It just felt like so much more should have happened. My thought originally was that the boys' plan was going to fail, because as I was watching it, I was like, there's no way that this is just going to work and they're going to beat up Homelander and this is all going to work. But it did. I thought they were going to lose, and that's when Soulja Boy was going to have to come back out of the cryo chamber and be the one to shoot Homelander with the blast. But no, that was the end of Soulja Boy in this show. He's just stuck in the cryo chamber. Episode 7 was his finale in The Boys. So stupid, in my opinion. Like, it couldn't be more dumb. I'm kind of all over the place in this episode, but I'm going off my memory and what's fresh on my mind right now. The next character that we get their finished arc is Sister Sage, and what a dumb character she was. She at no point in the show was ever the smartest character. And this entire season, the only thing that she did was to look over Frenchie's work in the previous episode. She was no dumber after she got blasted than she was before. You can't necessarily even blame the writers for not being smart enough to write the smartest person in the world, but at no point in this show was she the smartest character on screen or at all. Her master plan to let the whole world kill each other so she can read was the dumbest plan to begin with. And she made no steps to make that plan happen. So her character was so dumb, in my opinion. Oh Father's death was another thing that felt so rushed. It felt like they were like, what do we do with this character? We have to just kill him right away. Let's just kill him. Because earlier in this episode, Ashley explains how this ball gag thing would make it so he can't scream, but she never says anything about it exploding his head. They were going to use that together. So was Ashley planning on killing him in the first place? Like, it literally made no sense, and it happened so fast. And another thing that felt so rushed was Butcher's turn in the end. I really felt like they should have at least did a time jump after things cooled off so that it could give him more time to process and then turn. But it just felt like a day before, Butcher's like, yes, you can save Kamiko, you can save Annie, we're not going to release a virus. Then a day later, he's like, fuck it. After we kill Homelander, we have to kill all the Supes. It just felt rushed. It felt like it wasn't as bad as Daenerys in Game of Thrones, because that literally came out of nowhere, her turning. Butcher was always struggling, always wanting to kill all of the Supes the whole show, but it just felt like this was also another thing that was rushed. They were wasting time in this season having whole episodes dedicated to side characters, and they were rushing the finale. It literally just makes no sense to me. A bad sign when the hardest hitting death in the show is a dog. When Terror died, that was the only point of the episode where I was like, oh, damn, that's crazy. Like, honestly. Now let's get to some of the stuff that I actually did like about the episode. Well, first, I want to say that I did like the fact that they added Ryan into the final fight scene with Butcher, and he came in and helped Butcher in the end. I did like that. And then I liked pretty much everything after Butcher turned. The whole ending wasn't terrible. Huey and Butcher fight it out. Butcher has his hand on the trigger ready to release the virus. And then he sees his brother and he's about to let his hand off the trigger. And then you see the flash of the gun and Huey shoots him. I love this scene, and it coincides with the comic books where Huey is the one that has to kill Butcher in the end. And I thought they did this scene perfectly. And then, like I said, everything after that, I liked the fact that they made Starlight pregnant and Huey and her actually got together and they didn't somehow break up or something. I liked the fact that Kamiko and Eminem had a happy ending. Eminem gets remarried to his wife and it's all good. So there were a few things that I did like, but for the most part, it was just a letdown. Like I said before, we were promised scorched earth, and we got a wrecked Oval Office. That's it. That was the scope of Homelander's big immortality god ascension. he couldn't even get out of the Oval Office. Like, to build up this character and to actually have him at a point where you can unleash him onto the world and you can give the fans what they want to see. Just another letdown. And it felt like some parts of the finale were there to set up their upcoming show in Vought Rising. If you didn't even know that Vought Rising was a thing, because most people who watch the show don't know the shows that are about to come out, you would think that Soulja Boy, that's the end of Soulja Boy. He's just in a cryo chamber. You just think that's the end of Soulja Boy. And the Gen V cameos, I'm happy that they didn't put them in the final fight scene, but that part was just stupid. Leave them out of it. This whole thing has just got me frustrated. I've watched the show for 7 years now. When you're promised one thing in the finale and you get a nerfed Homelander who felt in some cases to be the weakest he's ever been in a fight scene. His lasers don't even go through a crowbar anymore. And it's gonna hurt Vought Rising. Less people are gonna watch it, and that's for sure. But I really wanna know what you guys think. I've been ranting for a while now. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Did you like the finale? Did you hate it? Let me know. If you listened this far in the video, I thank you. I appreciate you. Drop a like. It helps with the algorithm. Consider subscribing to the channel because we have a lot more videos coming your way. But until then, I'm Brandon. This is Screen Wars, and we'll see you in the next one.
We wrote season 5 before the election. And so it was really the very first time we were like, all right, so let's speculate about what American authoritarianism would look like, based on, we were honestly going more on like history. Like, other countries who have gone through it, and what does it look like? And then we were just slapping red, white, and blue on it. And my genuine, turns out naive, hope at the time was like, I think everyone will be like, boy, we really dodged a bullet. But then we all got hit in the face with the bullet. Whoa. And it's absolutely stunning and troubling to me how many of the things we genuinely thought were out there, we're like, well, that's wild that we're depicting this, have already come to pass. And in a way that's not great, not great. I sort of hope that people see The Boys. They'll probably say like, wow, you guys are being real psychic, but we were just trying to imagine what fascist creep in America would really look like. And I hope it just alarms people, honestly. I hope they like look around and they're like, oh shit, some of this stuff is really fucking happening. Like that doesn't seem good. We should maybe do something about this. That would be great. But I don't expect to change anything, because I think if the last 8 years have shown us anything, the thing that The Boys is best at is not changing anything.